I'm Noelle Rose Anderson -Kale, and so I'm reading to you from my book, the authentic version, the real version, DanceWarrior. That's my nickname, and this is from Cancer to Dancer. Yay! So anyway, onward, yes. It's just really cold. Really, really cold. So, hold on. I think that will stay there. Okay, so I'm reading to you from my book, and here's chapter 9, 6 weeks. You cannot catch the wind, my friends. You can only hope to have it touch you and move you to feel something. The very thing that caused the caterpillar to die is the very thing that caused the butterfly to fly. My pen name, Noelle Anderson. In loving memory, Mommy, I'll never let you go. 2012. She's a hottie, isn't she? My mama. Okay. The caterpillars arrived. If you remember where we last left off, before I did all the photos with you. This is page 178, 179. The caterpillars arrived. I ordered a whole bunch of larvae. At a peculiar time in my life on September 21st. It was a remarkable, there's a typo, a remarkable sight to see and would act as a welcome diversion. Not only were they a spectacle, but they ate like horses. They had a cup. Do I explain this here? Maybe, let me look. Their food granules were devoured, which made sense because they had a lot of growing and changing to do. I wonder if the caterpillar knew that it would become a beautiful butterfly. They were specially placed on a mantle in our hallway. It would become their new home. It's my love mantle. It was fun to watch them wiggle around as they burrowed into their food. They were incredibly hungry little guys. My mom's condition loomed over my head. I worked on choreography with my beautiful dance partner to get my... Hold on. There's this page. This is page 179. Hold up. Hold on, guys. This road sucks. Wonder if I can pull this tighter, you know?
Got that?
I'm trying to pull this tighter so it doesn't fall off of here again. I'm gonna have to hold it with my one hand. This is gonna be a trip. Okay, so the granules, like I was trying to explain, are in a cup, and they just ate. Like the granules would be, what's wrong with this road in that deep of a pile? And within a couple days it would be like this. We have it on video too. It's pretty miraculous. Those things, they weren't caterpillars, they were horses. Oh my god. Hungry little guys. Mind of think, wait. What happened here? Get my mind off of things. We had a performance in a few weeks. September 23rd, Aaron, that's my brother, called me. The test came back. Mom had congenital heart failure. That's so weird. I don't know how I don't know. Seems funny. She had an effusion around her heart. Too much fluid was drowning her organ. That was fairly hard news to absorb. He also said that she had surgery. They had to cut open her chest. I sunk to the floor stunned. I knew he wasn't telling me everything the other day when he called. I knew something was up, and he didn't tell me everything, and I'm like, what's going on here? Come on now, fess up. And for her to have congenital heart failure. But anyway, I read Dr. Hornish's book, and I'm like, you're gonna do this diet, Mom. All I could picture was my mom's precious little heart being cut open. It upset me that it was done to her, but understood that sometimes these things have to occur to save someone. See, this dust that's in the air, it can cause that effusions. It causes swelling. We know that because my stomach, anywhere, really. My face. Still, I believed everyone is worth saving until their final breath. Again, not everything was told to me. I knew that everyone was trying to spare me the details, but I wanted to know more than broad strokes. That was my mom. The problem solver and me engaged. Okay, we need to take care of her when she gets home. I'll come out and help. Vegas is 4 hours away. I hate this road. Vegas is 4 hours away, and I know about a heart diet that may help. Dr. Ornish's heart diet reverses heart disease. It's really amazing. Whatever it takes, we can do this. And it gets rid of swelling, and it's an amazing diet. And if that's what you gotta do to survive, I was like, I'm cooking, I don't cook well, but I'm gonna do it for my mom. I was down and ready. Like, we're doing this. While we were talking, I posted on his Facebook wall Dr. Ornish's Reversing Heart Disease book and the link. This is the book I was talking about. Maybe it can help Mom if it's not too late. She loves to cook, but I guess we kind of have to do it for her right now. I used it. It helped when I had the mitral valve prolapse thing. Oh my God, this road is atrocious. Is the other lane any better?
I don't know.
Can you try it? Because this lane is shit. Where's all this money going to? You know, President Trump gave out all this money for roads. Really? What did they do? Did they plant more toxic spigot dispensaries or something in this highway? I always feel sick on the highways. What the hell is this? Yeah, somebody needs to do something about that. Where was I? Yeah, but it worked on reversing, so I did a lot more exercise, and I did everything that they say you shouldn't do. I pushed myself. I did weight training, I did more dancing, I did more athletics, and I got rid of that problem, and I did a really good diet. So it does work, people. While we were talking, I posted on it. Oh wait, I just read that. Hold on. I don't know if it'll work for congestive heart failure, though. It's worth a try. So I was like, we're gonna do this. We'll do anything for Mom. Aaron, my brother, reassured me and promised to keep me updated. I got off the phone and cried. Strangers ripped open my mom's heart. It makes me mad. The heartbeat I listened to inside her womb. The heartbeat that I heard when I was sick and I laid on her chest. The heartbeat was now in somebody else's hands. You know what that's saying? I do not trust people after everything that I've been through. People can be beautiful, wonderful, don't get me wrong. I've experienced that, but I've experienced mostly evil. And I'm just kind of done with it. Evil can't rule this world anymore. It has to be in the hands of good people, and we're going to make that happen. I needed more wine and more dancing, so I got more wine and did more dancing. I video recorded and watched our butterflies to grow exponentially. The next chance I got, I sent my mom a DVD copy of my dance, Red Rubans. I wanted her to see it. There was so much for me to share with her, and I felt there was so little time that we had together in life. September 25th, Aaron called me around dinner time and said the test came back. It's cancer. Mom has cancer. Our mom has cancer. My hands clasped around the phone tighter. Did you say she has cancer? Yes, the fluid they drained from her heart showed she has cancer. We don't know where else it is. Or this is a summary of what I remember, of course. I don't remember verbatim, but the heart, or if the heart is where it originated from, that was all weird. He said articulately and slowly without emotion. Okay, they're 100% sure? Yes, it's stage 4, he told me. Matter of factly, he was a rock. Yeah, he was just so matter of fact, and I'm like, what's going on here? Something seemed weird. The phone then almost dropped out of my hand. It didn't know I didn't know if the treatment I had undergone would work for her, because I'm thinking, well, I went through a cancer treatment, would it work? Stage 4 usually means imminent death, however, cancer doesn't. Okay, so this is 180 here. This is 181 here. So you can get all of that. See? If you guys are getting another book than other one I wrote, that's a problem. And there's hardly anything in here about my sexual molestation. It's not disgusting. I don't even think there's a swear word in here. The one swear word is my mom. She writes this letter. I got permission from my brothers if I could put it in here. And it says bullshit. Yeah, she says, well, enough bullshit. It's right here. And this is rated PG-13. PG-13 because, you know, we do mention sexual molestation. But, I mean, there's nothing bad in here. I don't say anything bad about anybody. Yeah, just things to document who I was. Cancer doesn't always have to be a death sentence. The warrior in me rose up. Oh, here we go with the road again. Oh, you're back in this lane?
Just letting this truck get by us.
The warrior in me rose up again. This time it was to fight for my mother's life. Somehow. Wait, this can't be right. She was fine and then had heart surgery or heart failure and now she has stage 4 cancer? What happened? I don't understand. Something has to be wrong somewhere. It doesn't make any sense at all. I was so confused and I was not accepting what I was hearing. I was handling the heart disease, even the news about cancer, but stage 4? I was not going to accept that. She needs a second opinion because that doesn't seem right. Yet none of this seemed right with my mother. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? It's just, all of a sudden, I think it's that stuff, the dust, the toxic dust. That's your cancer, that's your diabetes, that's your everything. That's what I think. However, it was 100% correct. Mom had stage 4 cancer, and a few more tests showed that it was all over her body. Like, how does something like that happen so quickly? The origination site was undetermined at that time. More tests would be needed, and then a plan of treatment would ensue. Okay, how can I help? I need to do something. I can't just wait around and let this kill her. I do a lot of work for the American Cancer Society. Let me start with that. Does she have insurance? Aaron sighed, not yet. She should have it in a couple of months. We both knew she didn't have time to wait. We had to act now. I got off the phone and I got to work on getting mom insurance coverage. I worked until 5 p.m. There was nothing more I could do that day. Wasn't sure what else to do or say to anyone. I thought a lot about this life, mortality, purpose, God. My brother's words, it's cancer. The echo was fierce and unrelenting. I had to escape a bit and walked to the caterpillars. They now had enveloped themselves inside their silken chrysalises. I stared at them. They were motionless. You know, when I'm reading this, I'm just reading it to get out there because I just have a feeling that something very bad happened with my books, and if I were reading this professionally to be sold, I would be reading much better, so bear with me, I'm just reading it, okay? Every once in a while, they would vibrate. This was their way of warding off predators. Nature was a curious and amazing force that it would develop a safety mechanism for all creatures. How would Mother Nature know to do this? It wasn't happenstance, chance, or luck. It's all very complex to think about. They were another creature a few days ago, and now they were going to cross over into completely changed beings. Things were moving fast in all areas of my life. I took strong notice of the uncanny parallels of the butterflies to be, the timing of their arrival, and the onset of my purchasing them. When I did, I had no knowledge of my mom's illness, and according to everyone else, neither did she. I sat on the couch and stared out the window and gazed at the college across the way. I should have been thinking about my mom, but my heart was heavy for another, hoping she was all right. I was thinking about my teacher. Even though our relationship was strained and left in an emotional pending folder, I don't like those. Hold on. I don't like those pending folders. I'm like, I want to fix everything. I worried about losing her too. She was close to my mom's age-ish. You know, give or take, 3 to 5 years, something like that. All the intricacies and notions swirled in my mind. I wanted to shut it down, but I couldn't. This was my impossible reality. For the first time, I couldn't figure out how to take this negative about my... Okay, this is 182 and 183. 182 and 183. Turn it into a positive. I had to find a positive somewhere, but it escaped me. I fell asleep on the couch. A couple days passed and the news only compounded. Mom was given 3 to 6 months to live. Some say it was 3 to 8 months. Okay, don't split hairs. 3 to 6, 3 to 8 months, whatever. Not one of my better structured essays. Oh, I wrote a Facebook note. September 29th, 2012, 3 to 6 months. Not one of my better structured essays, but I'm under duress and letting it out. Turn, turn, turn. There's a season and a purpose for everything under heaven. You know, that's from the Birds, right? Their song. I can't dance enough to take my sorrow away. I can't speak enough to God to pray. I am not functioning all that well and want to be able to change things, but I can't. I'm helpless. At this point, I do not see the purpose for why my mother has to die so young. The way things are set up in the circle of life, the elders die and leave the path behind for the younger generations to follow, but what was not intended was for the elders to die before their time, nor was losing one's child before they've had a chance to live. Things are so wrong and backwards in life. See, even then I knew. I didn't know to say Q. I didn't know what it was, but something. A great misunderstanding is that because I'm a Christian, I'm at peace with all of this stuff and that I'm not comfortable with death, knowing where people go after this life. Well, I'm not at ease with any of this. I don't think anyone handles death too well. I certainly don't. I had to tell my dad today that the wife of his youth has terminal cancer. I think having to tell him broke my heart more than my first hearing the news from my brother. This is backwards. Everything is backwards. I can't help but ask, what were the decisions and curveballs in life that brought us all to this point? How did we get here? I still never told my mom the truth about Red Ribbons. She still hasn't seen it. At least I don't think so. She could have watched it. My Red Ribbons, a commonality I wish we didn't have. She never saw me dance except maybe a ballet recital when I was 4. I guess I shall remedy all of this soon, then. No better time than the present. So I was hoping that she would watch my video. Although if I can, I will strap her soul to the earth so she doesn't leave. I'm going to have too many questions to ask her 2 years from now. I'm still working on making a baby. The odds are against me. I know I'm going to need a hug several times in years to come from her, and there won't be any. I'm going to need someone to love me like Nana did, and neither of them will be there. I had too much take my mom away from me, and now this is backwards. Then I think maybe in a few weeks I'll stop struggling and stop trying to figure out the why and just accept, or will my depression worsen? My ultimate fear is my cancer returning yet again. As if I had lied about it, is there enough proof now? All the women in my direct bloodline attacked and taken. Shall that be enough proof to testify on my behalf? There are my tests too. Yeah, because someone said I didn't have cancer, and I'm like, oh really? And what is it? Let's see. Hold on, guys. That's 184, and this is 185. As I fall on my knees and ask fervently, how did we get here? Did my mom know that her life was half over when she was in her late 20s? Sobering notion, yes? How many 20-something-year-olds will read this note? Kind of puts a proper perspective on your life. I can say that it's also strengthening me. I'm losing the last I have left to lose, and when faced with that, it emboldens me. Watch and see the fierce lioness instilled within me. Too many have been pushing my buttons and using me. Pushing back comes easy these past days. Turn, turn, turn. But she is not gone. Not yet. This is backwards. God, if it be your will, spare her life 15 more years. Yes, I ask boldly before your throne. Have mercy. 2 weeks ago, life was different. It wasn't this way. What happened? The wind we do not see, but we feel it caress our cheeks. Gravity we do not see, but we feel the effects as it plants our feet firmly to the earth. God also invisible. We do not see him, but we see how he changes people's lives, trusting in the invisible. September 30th, I spoke with my mom on the phone. I finally got through to her. She could only stay on for a couple minutes. Mom, don't worry, it'll be okay. She said, she slurred her words. That's what this stuff also does too. It always is. With that, she and I hung up. She needed her rest, and I needed to go to work and teach my babies their ballet classes. October 1st, 2 butterflies emerged from their shells. They must have had their exodus while we were asleep, but this change didn't happen overnight, but their birthing did. It would only seem as if they changed overnight. A butterfly has its wings while inside the chrysalis it is growing and changing while we are waiting anxiously for it to emerge. In many species, you can see its vibrant colors and catch a glimpse of what it will become. In this case, I couldn't see the transformation occurring inside. Their covering was opaque. I had to trust in what I did not know about them to come to fruition. What is seen on the outside does not always reflect what's happening inside. If you're fortunate, you can catch glimpses of hope through life's transparent moments. We were not disappointed to have waited. They were magnificent. They fluttered their wings and flitted around their mesh habitats. With that, I had hope that Mom could be saved somehow. October 3rd, my brother called me. You better get down here quick. Mom's not doing well. My heart dropped. October 5th, my entire family went to see my mom. My brother from San Diego, my menfolk, and I from LA, Los Angeles, and my other brother, aunt, and uncle lived in Vegas, so they were right there anyway. Her supportive and wonderful boyfriend was by her side and tended to her at all times. He loved Mom dearly. It made my heart joyous to know how much Mom was loved by this man. We loved him in return. Still do. From LA, Los Angeles, knew how we would find Mom. Hold on, let me start and stop this again. Hold on. Okay. Just wanted to start and stop that. None of us from LA, Los Angeles, knew how we would find Mom. My other family members had already seen her. My brother saw us pull up to Mom's townhome in our SUV, and he approached us. He said for only me to go in first because we didn't want to overwhelm Mom. I agreed. It was also good that our son didn't see his Mima, that's what he called her, like this right away. We decided to do this slowly and lovingly. Mom and her boyfriend bought a 2-story townhome in East Las Vegas. Coincidentally, her sister, my aunt, had owned one in the same complex a few streets over. It was the same model but different home. I remembered the floor plan from my teenage years. I would know where the bathroom, the kitchen, and bedrooms would be. Very odd feeling to have familiarity like that and be in a different place. The front courtyard had Mom's signature welcome decor, mat, plants. Yep, this was her home. She loved the macabre, the dark, sinister side of horror films, vampires, and monsters. It had always confused me a bit because she was truly a gentle woman who loved pretty things and an incredible gift of hospitality. Dark horror films, horror, and frills seemed to contradict one another. It was very Victorian, actually, you know. But Mom somehow pulled it off. It could be where I get my affinity for a gothic look in my dance pieces. My brother braced me for what I was about to see. He entered first. I hesitated, then I followed him. My eyesight was poor at that time, but much better than it is now. Just as my brother said it would be like hospital bed, rubber tubing for the breathing mask. Mom slumped over, looking very tired. He also added that it was hard to understand her. Mom was sitting upright, which was progress for her, recovering from heart surgery. She was slumped over, finishing a breathing treatment. She couldn't straighten up because of the surgical cut into her chest. I swallowed hard and choked back the tears as I bent down beside her. Her face wasn't as I remembered it. I recognized her, still beautiful, but cancer was fiercely deteriorating and encroaching upon her, but she still looked beautiful. Cancer is cruel. I hugged her and kissed her. I rested my head on her lap. We have pictures of all this and video too. Her legs and skin were supple. How could this woman be dying, I thought. Her muscles were still toned. I could feel it and her pulse vibrant. I could hear it. She asked how I was doing. I chuckled because I was comparatively fine. She said I looked good. I instinctually rubbed her back the way she did when I was a child. It soothed her. She let me know by nodding her head. You couldn't come visit me. She was so upset. Ugh, not a guilt trip now, Mom, please, I thought to myself. The answer was no, I couldn't. I had no idea she was sick. None of us knew. We had no money to fly to Florida, and I couldn't take time off from work. I'd get fired. That's what happens when you do what I do. You just can't, leave. We went hungry some nights as it was, and I wasn't going to jeopardize my family. I had to feed my son. After my cancer battle, it was a dire situation for several years. We had nothing, and we were working to build everything back up. It takes a lot of time. I kept my mouth shut as I reflected back upon another situation, but I should have kept my mouth shut, so I didn't say anything. I thought something, though. 188 and 189. I don't hold it against her. I look back now, and I thought, I don't even have that job anymore, so what the hell, I should have gone and seen my mom. Live and learn. What a horrible lesson to learn. But learnt it I did. There is a time to speak, hence the word and meaning in it equating to proper timing. This moment was not the proper time at all. What mattered was my mom and not me. While I was right to speak up, it wasn't the time or place. I flipped it around quickly and told myself, what did it matter? Mom was only expressing how she wanted to see me and be with me. That isn't a bad thing. I thought all of this but said nothing. Her words acted as a reminder to me that I needed to find ways to do things and not let anything be an excuse. You can do what you set your mind to do within reason. I need a pillow, she said. I got her a pillow and helped prop her upright. She then asked for me to help her with her sheet. I did. So my mother's name is Shirley, okay? So I am not a fake Noelle Kale daughter 29. I'm the real Noelle Rose Anderson Kale. And I have no 29-year-old daughter. I have no daughter. I have one son that's born to date. And that's it. And so my mother's name is Shirley. Okay. I really hope there is isn't a fake Noelle out there, 29, going around who took my book and is just like destroying everything. That's imposturing, and that there's a lot of crimes that person's committing then. That's a huge problem. But we're going to get to the bottom of it, and this is part of that step. I got her a pillow and propped her upright. She then asked for me to help her with her sheet. I did, and she said to me, "How is it you understand what I say and they don't?" Meeting my brothers, the men. Her voice was gravelly, but still, Mom. Because we're connected, Mom. I honestly didn't have a hard time at all understanding her speech. I could see how it would be hard, but I was that close to her. And if I couldn't catch each word, I'd be able to fill in the blanks just by deduction and knowing her so well. I had to do it every day in my life and make adjustments because I lost a lot of my hearing with the severe fever I had at the cancer clinic. I also had one when I was an infant. They gave me like a rubella shot or something like that in the MMR at the wrong timing. It was way too young and it almost killed me. Like I said here, just like when I was an infant with a severe fever, hearing loss and damage. So that's how it goes. Now, if I'm in an enclosed space, the sound bounces off and I can hear better. Narrow hallways, small rooms, big rooms, it's like, oh my God, I'm not gonna hear anything. The skill of filling in the blanks seemed second nature to me. There was only one other relationship I had where words didn't always need to be spoken to communicate. A white butterfly flew past the backyard window. It caught my eye as soon as my thought completed. I shook my head, perplexed. This butterfly was taking on new and fuller meaning for me. I watched it fly around Mom's backyard, then looked to her, and I found myself gazing at the white, flitting blur. With that, as a constant reminder of the bee fly, I showed Mom my pointe shoes, and she loved them. Mom wanted to see the rest of the family. My husband and son were ushered in. Oh, by the way, those pointe shoes that I carry with me are the same pointe shoes I showed my mom. They're my rehearsal pointe shoes, and I performed, I think, once in them, and I did a photo shoot once in them. I gave them their space and time alone with her. Our son loved his Mima and spent many hours with her as a baby and young child. The fresh paint from the back room was barely noticeable as I wandered through her home. My allergies and everything were clearing up. It was amazing. I took note of the articulately arranged designs. The downstairs bathroom had a maritime theme to it. She loved her boat and brought some of those memories back with her. She was an ocean child. We're both Capricorn. I love water too. It's so wonderful. The towels matched and were perfectly folded, something akin to Better Homes and Gardens. Mom never misstepped when it came to decorating a home. If she only had 2 nickels to spend, she'd find a way to make it look like $1 million piece of art. If she only had 2 stones to rub together, she'd figure out how to cook a 5-course meal. She was that industrious and determined and that talented. Everything she touched was going to be presented in a lovely fashion. This was why I was looking forward to having her design costumes with me for my dancers. 190 and 191. I think you can see that. Shared that they were in the middle of finishing decorating the upstairs when Mom got sick. He showed me around some more. There was a blanket nearby that Mom was crocheting. It was housed in a standing bin that had butterflies and rose like flowers printed on the outside. I read a quote and printed on it, "It takes a long time to grow an old friend," by John Leonard. The word friend was also written on it. Not just in the quote, but kind of printed out. It's kind of cool. Seeing all these pretty lights. More butterflies. Mom didn't have a thing for butterflies necessarily. The sign of the butterfly followed me no matter where I was. It symbolized transformation and often appeared when I thought about someone specific, unless it was a sign that these precious souls I knew were angels destined for heaven. It was time to try to get Mom to sit outside and get fresh air. My brother sat Mom up on the edge of the bed, swung her legs over, and draped her arms around his neck. I have a photo of this sweet moment. He helped her to the wheelchair, and her boyfriend wheeled her outside. Your mom is having a good day today, right, honey? You haven't been this alert in a while. As we moved outside, I was asked to lower the TV. It sat on a credenza, and so was the DVD of my Red Rubans dance. It hadn't been opened yet, though. At least I don't think so. I desperately wanted Mom to see it, but didn't want to disturb echoing waters. If it was meant for her to see it, to see my story, then she would. I wasn't going to press it. We sat and talked a while. It was hard to know what to say, but it was good. I longed to tell her about what happened to me, though. I wanted her to see Red Ribbons. Discernment said, not this day. Ow. We would have another chance another time. The biggest lie ever is to believe that we have enough time. Could this be real, I thought? Is this how my history is going to play out, that I and my precious brothers would lose our mom at a fairly young age? Mom had a handy butterfly-shaped fly swatter on the garden table that we sat at. She still had her reflexes intact. She nailed each pest as it made a nuisance of itself. Nice, Mom, you're fierce with that. She shook her head and shrugged her shoulders. More white butterflies visited us. Mom, do you usually get butterflies? I lived in Vegas 15 years and I don't remember seeing a single one. She shook her head. We don't get many. First time there's so many. I started to cry unbeknownst to her. I kind of like turned my head a little bit, you know. Lunch was on the way. It would be a pizza feast, my family's favorite fun food. I helped set up the table and gathered papers together. They had butterfly logos on it. It's like butterflies everywhere. Another butterfly sign. As I was about to disregard it, I read it and I saw it was hospice letterhead. I stopped. That moment coalesced for me the reality that my mom was dying. I don't think anyone had straight out told me she was dying. If they did, it didn't penetrate. My son put his hand on my hand and smiled at me. He understood what was happening to his Mima. I smiled and kissed at him and kissed his whatever cheek, head, find out. I'm sorry I'm saying it that way. Yep, his head, forehead. He helped me arrange the lunch table and we ate a great feast of pizza. I marveled at how my brothers were perfectly twinned in burgundy shirts. My flower-printed dress had burgundy roses. Mom and I complimented one another with matching black hairbands. She wore a yellow terry housecoat which picked up the yellow daisies printed on my dress. Yellow is her favorite color. She loves yellow daisies. We were all on the same wavelength. Then Mom said, this doesn't taste right. We all took note of it. Later, my brother told me that the cancer probably spread to her brain already and messing with her taste buds. I agreed. This disease was moving fast. It was about 3 weeks since she was... Come on. Chris, can you get in the other lane, please?
Yeah, I'll let these trucks pass me.
You've been waiting for a lot of them to pass.
Well, we're in a new state, so I thought the road would be better.
It's not. It was about 3 weeks since she was admitted into the hospital. This didn't make sense. I wanted to step on the brakes and halt this situation. I couldn't catch up with the events. It was time to say goodbye and go back to LA, Los Angeles. We all had jobs, classes to take or teach, and other responsibilities. My brothers and I decided that we would alternate weekends to stay overnight and visit Mom and help her boyfriend. We were set to make the last 3 to 6 months of her life the best they could be. We said our goodbyes. I squeezed my mom tightly and kissed her forehead. It was hard to tear myself from her. We piled into our SUV and drove back to LA. The wind from the cool desert air was forced through my hair. I longed to connect with my mom deeper and make all things right and cause things to work in our relationship. This was wind chasing. You cannot catch the wind, my friends. You can only hope to have it touch and move you to feel something. Have you ever chased after something, pining madness, capture it, and then only to find it didn't fulfill the needs you had? Why didn't chasing after things and possessing them fill us? My conclusion, the insatiable beast of desire can never be filled. How can be filled to how we'd like it to be? Fact. Usually because our fantasies and daydreams of how we think it will be when we achieve our goals are much more grand in our imaginations than they ever truly turn out to be in reality. We must beat our dreams into submission of reality. Yeah, but you know what? I also think that Q listens to what everybody's saying. We talk about our dreams and they make sure that things don't happen. That's what I think. Let's look at a son who deeply desires for his father to recognize him for the man he is. Yes, he should be loved and admired and cared for by the father, but sometimes and oftentimes that doesn't happen. Let's say that after 20 years, the father does come to recognize his son. The father embraces his son, speaks the right words, but the son still feels empty. Why? Because maybe he found out that the respect he thought he'd finally gain wasn't quite what he pictured. He finds out the truth about his father, struggling, suffering, and not integral. Could be. Then the son finds out that his father needed his approval more than he needed his father's approval. The wind chasing and catching cycle stops. The wind chasing and catching cycle stops. Realization is what stopped. But let's not get so down and hopeless thinking there's no cure, because this is where the true beauty lays. When the sun finally, hold on, that's page 194 and 195. Realizes this, the son can now help the father. And guess what? Because the son finally let go of his ideals, he found the truth and bridged a huge chasm by being one to help his father. The wind chasing stops and the two men can be who they were truly destined to be. I know this story too well. It's quite close to my heart, as you can see. I attest to this because I've seen a happy and just ending when we stopped wind chasing. October 6th, I spoke with my aunt. She and my uncle weren't handling this well. My aunt wanted to fight and save my mom as much as I did and as much as my brothers. We were waiting for more tests and Mom was deciding what treatment to get, if that was even an option. We were all helpless. All we could do was wait. Two more of the 6 caterpillars came out of their shells. They were feisty and learned where the exit to their habitat was. I too learned that the butterflies are not dumb. They have intelligence and sharp instinct. They are also not as frail as they appear. They are hardy creatures that want to fly. A couple of them learned when we were going to feed them and escaped. We would let them fly freely around our home for a bit. Our home is our apartment. And before we gathered them up to return them to their habitat. One of my favorite ones had shriveled wings. He wasn't going to fly like the others, but was just as important. We helped it onto the flowers so it could feed itself. This wee one was a mighty one because it had to fight harder than the others. It was joyful to watch them flit around the roses and other flowers in their habitat. I was inspired by their beauty and wrote poems and stories. Vibrant were her petals and mighty were her wings. There once was a caterpillar sealed in a silken cocoon. It kept trying to break its way through the walls of its chamber, but to no avail could not. One day Mother Nature spoke to the caterpillar. "What is troubling you so?" the caterpillar pleaded. "I'm trying to get out of this jail cell. I can't stand it in here anymore. I want to be free. Won't you help me?" Mother Nature softly spoke. "But you don't even have wings yet. If I let you out now, you'll fall on the ground and get hurt and may even die. You must be patient and wait. It's not time yet." So the caterpillar waited and waited, and it almost felt painful to keep waiting so long. Late in winter, the caterpillar noticed a colorful, delicate cascade on its back. It hadn't seen anything like it before. It assumed these must be its wings. "Mother Nature, I now have wings. Can you get me out of here?" "You are right, those are your wings, but they're only the beginning of what's yet to come," Mother Nature soothed. "But they seem ready." But see, that's my reading voice, sorry. But you're not ready. Wait, Mother Nature coaxed. So the caterpillar waited. More and more time passed. Early spring had arrived, and the caterpillar noticed that its body had changed greatly. It seemed to be almost completely a different creature. Is it time now? It is time, Mother Nature replied. The caterpillar squirmed and shifted about its cocoon and couldn't break. There's 196 and 197. It's horrible for women to be referred to as butterflies when they're going through menopause, because I think menopause is actually chemically induced by these SOVs, these cute people. Really, because when I'm away from all this stuff, things change. It's really interesting, symptoms and everything. And my mom and grandmother, they had to take pills to actually stop bleeding. They were bleeding well into their way later years. So women were meant to reproduce like to a ripe old age, actually, and we were supposed to be able to live very long lives. Truth will be coming out soon. You guys are going to be stunned. And free. Aren't you going to help me? The caterpillar went unanswered. I need help. It seemed like an eternity, but eventually the caterpillar broke through its silken jail and was free. As it flew into the air, it noticed its beautiful wings and soared gracefully. I'm free. Yes, you are, said Mother Nature. But why didn't you help me, Mother Nature? You watched me struggle and did nothing, the caterpillar questioned. If I would have helped you, you never would have turned into a beautiful butterfly. It was the struggle that made you as beautiful as you are. It is true, butterflies that struggle to get out of their cocoons have more broader wingspan and more vibrantly colored. They are more hardy than those that are helped out according to a lab experiment. So the next time you're struggling to break forth out of your cocoon, just know that it's a master plan for you to have brilliant and colorful wings. Be patient and wait for nature to take its course. That was my little short story I wrote. Spur of the moment, that's what I do. These creatures were free. They had no fears. This is back to what was happening to my real butterflies. No hang-ups, no ulterior motives except to fly and spread their exquisiteness and the pollen from the roses, or any flower, right? Interesting how the symbiosis mandated that they needed one another to spread each other's life essence, a form of procreation to keep beauty alive. Mom escaped from my lips. I was witnessing my mother's life cycle via the butterflies. I asked God to spare her, but if not, keep her close to your bosom. All humanity queries what happens after we pass from this earth. It is a worthy quest. October 7th. I woke up and visited my butterfly friends. I was about to open their habitat and enjoy their company. My husband reminded me not to get attached to them because we had to release them into the world soon. They needed to be freed. 2 of them flew to my chest. They grew accustomed to me placing them there, right here. I cupped my hands over them while they walked on me. I loved how their little feet and wings would brush against my skin. Inside the habitat, one of the painted ladies wasn't moving. I reached out and nudged it slightly. It was gone. I had kept it too long. Throughout the day, I kept thinking how strong a lighthouse has to be in the midst of a storm. Its walls are made from stone, like giant arms of protection to anyone seeking refuge inside. We are kept safe in the midst of torrential outpouring from nature. It's good to have a pair of arms to run to that are strong, like a lighthouse to run to keep you safe. My husband's arms were like this for me, and so were our precious sons. The night my husband, son, and I went for dinner. That night, my husband, son, and I went out for dinner and returned home. We were making plans how to schedule the use of our vehicle, in which weeks I would be going to Vegas to help my mom. My cell rang. It was my brother. My heart quickened. The last time I felt this way was when my grandmother passed on. Hello? The worry and panic was already in my voice. Mom's gone. My brother said it was my younger brother, Aaron. Here's 198 and 199. was really 3 to 8 months, but she only had a few days, really. I knew he was sure, but I wanted it to mean something else. I wanted it to mean that she was back in the hospital and just gone from her home temporarily. No, she's gone. He was very stern and calm. His steadiness and definitiveness almost alarmed me further, but he was a strong man and knew I needed his strength now. I dropped the phone and screamed no with the loudest and most painful cry as my heart shattered. There would be no more time together. There would be no more birthdays to share, no more late night phone calls, no emails, no more text, no more anything. It was over. I couldn't cry, I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe. Then I collapsed to the floor, wanting to feel its coldness on my cheek. I could hear the earth consume my heartbeat. My husband picked up the phone and spoke with my brother, and my son met me on the floor. He held my hand and cradled me in his arms. My husband did what he could to comfort me, but there was nothing anyone could do to soothe me. He apologized to the neighbors and explained what happened. I yelled no pretty loud. Everyone heard me scream about half a block away. So often in life we chase after things that we think mean the world to us: a spouse, a good paying career, job, friendship, status, approval from people, etc. You can fill in the blank with your own things, and all of this is fine as long as it doesn't become an idol in our hearts, as long as it doesn't become the most important things to us. There's so much more that life has to offer, and if our plumb line isn't based on true values and true love, then we're just chasing after the wind, and we will never catch the wind. Go ahead, try it on the next blustery day. Open up your palm and try to grab it. Try to grab that ultimate career, the status. Keep building buildings. Keep trying to force things to be successful. Are you unhappy? I'm not surprised. You may be trying to fill a hole with things when it should be filled with love, God and His love. That void cannot be fulfilled with making more money, building more buildings, buying more houses and cars, etc. Will any of these things love you back? Please do try to coax your roles to give you a hug or comfort you when your life comes crashing down. Please do try to have your big expensive house to fill your spirit with joy. What's the matter? Are you not content? Aren't the 6 figures in your bank account enough to make you feel okay? Do you know how many rich people commit suicide? The trap is that we keep trying to feel okay by doing these things over and over again. Why don't they satiate? Because the heart is a hungry monster if left to itself, to where it makes us not even sure of what we want in life. We just know that we're not okay, and we think by trying to get more of what we think we want is the answer. It's all a lie, it's all a facade. These things will not make you happy in the long term. Most often we find that these things give us that high for the moment, but fade quickly. We need to ground ourselves in what truly matters. Page 200 and 201.